So how did the whole Prince relationship, start out?
It happened, what started there, 1999. We did the Love for Another. Now, we had kind of known him through some of his band members before, because he would talk mess about us in the rehearsals from where they would, I'd hear stories about, and they'd be rehearsing, oh, Prince said this about y'all, but the next minute he'd be like, well, hit this chord like meant or whatever, from what I was told. I don't know what actually was said, but nothing but love from him. I mean, just utmost respect, and he's always been very generous to the group and myself, very generous. I mean, just amazing, the stories. I think when you get older, you change, because I've heard so many stories and I've known so many people that work with him and, around at home. So we have the inside on pretty much everything. And, but with us, it was totally, it was totally cool. But just amazing dude. 1999 is when we formally started connecting and started doing things like, I'd like to do some stuff with you all. I've been hearing a lot about you. And we should get together and do something. Like, let us know, call us. So from that time on, some time had passed and we started calling us for different things here and there. And, but that was much later on, maybe like 2010 or something like that. I know he'd called me for the musicology CD. We did that, Call My Name. Me and some other friends do some background, went out to Paisley and, hit that. And it was, then we did the video, was out to LA and just hung out for a little bit, went to a couple clubs and saw the special screening of the Ray Charles movie when it was out. So that was real cool. And we were just real cool dude to talk to. That's what I'm gonna miss the most about him. It's just like, late night, what you doing, come out, just hang out, whatever, talk about. And he would be talking about, like, well, what are you gonna do, that kind of thing. So all the time, he'd just be like, on me about that. So like everybody, but by this time, so many people were like, what are you gonna do? When are you gonna do something, kind of thing. It's like, I'm working on something here, man. Yeah.
So I interviewed Mickey Free from Shalimar. Mm-hmm. And I asked him about the Prince, Charlie Murphy, Eddie Murphy story.
It was totally accurate to every point of the whole story. On that particular night, Eddie Murphy and his crew came. And it was Prince and I, and at the time, my wife, who was an actress named Terry Copley. And we were sitting there and Prince said, let's play basketball. And I'm like, what? So we went out in Beverly Hills to the court. Eddie Murphy, Charlie Murphy, and Uncle Ray, me and Prince's brother, and those were the teams. And I took the ball out, and Prince said, give me the ball back. And I was like, okay. And Eddie Murphy's looking at me like, oh yeah, Free, it's on. I'm like, and I swear to you guys, listening, wherever you're gonna be, Prince took the ball, and it was like Michael Jordan after that. Shot after shot, like nothing but net. And I looked at Eddie, and I was like, oh yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And after we were done, true story, Prince's cook at the time, her name was Randy, cooked us pancakes. Blouses.
It's hilarious. We were on the set doing the Call My Name video for musicology for that video. And me and a gentleman by the name of Kip Blackshy, which he sang, him and his brother sang with Prince for a long time. And we're sitting down there talking about the skit, right? And Prince had just been known to pop up, you don't even know he's there. So we're talking about it and we're laughing about the basketball scene. And then I seen it and he was there, he was like, it's true. I was like, what? He's like, what, he did this? And he's like, we turned and seen him sitting right there. He was like, it's true. I was like, oh, all right. But I heard definitely he could hoop. I mean, at home, everybody knew that,
Wait, so you mean Prince was sitting right there listening to y'all describe the
Yeah,
skit?
well, I didn't know that he just walked up, because he was trying to get everybody's wardrobe together and whatnot. And we're sitting there talking about it. Yeah. That was crazy, man. How, Charlie Murphy and all that stuff. And then he just walks up and kind of chuckled like, it's true. I was like, okay.
Prince was kind of a special one, man, because,
For sure.
You had, the androgynous thing was really big at the start of his career.
Yeah, the whole sissy boy.
So he wore makeup,
Yeah.
He had assless chaps. He had high heels, ruffles in his shirt.
Yeah.
But no one really thought he was gay or anything
Right.
else like that. Matter of fact, everyone thought that he had the baddest bitches.
Right, exactly. It was the totally opposite. I mean, you know, to get booed, and he talked about that a lot. It's like, man, he talked about when he's like, Stokley, when I first went on my first tour, like that Rolling Stones thing, not first tour, but, or maybe it was. And he was telling me, I got booed. I was just like, man, I didn't want to come back. And he said Mick Jagger's the one that actually called him back because he quit. You know, he didn't want to go back when he got booed. It's like, I said, what'd you do? He said, I just walked off stage. What could I do? And he said, Mick is the one that actually called him back. You can't quit, man. Come back. And, you know, so I guess they finished the tour kind of thing. And, you know, because he would come out in the boots with the trench and some panties or just some skimpy drawers on, you know. So, you know, you have this rock and roll crowd like, who is this dude? What? Boo. You know, like, what is that? You know, so they couldn't get it. They couldn't understand what it was because we'd never seen that like that. You know, it was quite bold at the time. As much, you know, as much as all that androgyny stuff that was going on at the time, it was nothing like that. And had this guy singing in falsetto, but then he had that alter ego. The alter ego was the time, you know, which, you know, helped create that alter ego. So that was a part of him as well. The whole machismo thing there, and you know, it was all macho. You know, the whole Morris's character, that whole thing. You know, just the whole pimp game thing. You know, but the Prince's was just a lot more subtle. You know, he kill you with that sweetness, with the voice and the, hey, what's your favorite color? You know, all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But killing you, you won't even know it. Like, did he just Jedi mind trick me? Like, what? Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I mean, Prince just has gone down as one of the greats of all time. I mean, at one point, like, you know, the younger audience won't know this, but at one point, Prince and Michael Jackson were really neck and neck. Like,
oh, for sure.
It was a fight over the biggest artist in the world, and Prince was pretty close with Michael at that point.
You know, I'm proud. We are proud, as we always say, with men. I can't remember. I think it was at the time, Diamonds and Pearls. I don't know which one, in which order. I think it was Michael Jackson, Remember the Time, Diamonds and Pearls, and Mint Condition was third on the charts. You know what I mean? So I was like, that ain't bad. We'll take number 3 behind that shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, that was pretty crazy. But yeah, they were definitely neck and neck. You know, we're never gonna get that kind of thing again. I mean, real stars, just in the realest way. All the grit, they went through it, you know. The cool thing about, you know, like with Michael, I always felt like he was here. Grew up, the whole childhood thing, he was just here. I got to see Prince actually morph into what he became. You know, I saw him in the movie theater, you know, around town, just jamming, popping in. You know, after I met him, you know, he would always try to find out where I'm playing in town, because my first instrument is drums. I still play if I'm home for any length of time. I'm trying to find gigs, you know, because I have to, spiritually, I need that. I got to do that. So he'd always try to find, you know, ask one of his bandmates, was Stoke playing tonight somewhere, and he would come down. All of a sudden, I'd feel something in the back of my head or something like that. So like somebody threw something at me, and I looked down. This dude would be throwing $100 bills at me, like, you know, that whole thing. I was like, that's nuts, man. Yeah.
Wait, Prince would show up at your gigs and throw $100 bills at you.
Yeah, yep. Crazy, right?
That's such a Prince thing to do, right?
Yeah, it's such a Prince thing. Rolled up dollar bills. Rolled up $100 bills, you know.
$100 bills. That's important.
Right. $100 bills. Just throwing them. It's like, do I keep
What do you think is your greatest Prince story, like of all the times that you known him?
I don't know, man. It's all I can say is I've had some really good conversations with him. Nothing I can really repeat because you know, it's just he's more private, and I want to honor his legacy like that. But he's he's just the coolest genius, and I do not say that word lightly, that ever did it, because geniuses are a little off and they see the world in a different way than most of us do. And to be that prolific in that way, who does that? You know what I mean? It's, Stevie's the same way, a different kind of breed, man. These cats see the world differently. They see it way before we do. They see the accident happening. We had to figure out, why the hell is he writing this? Oh, what's he doing now? What is that? What? Internet? What is that? Huh? Independence? You know what I mean? Oh, we get it. They were asking something about his music, about the vault, and we're gonna release this. And I remember I saw something where he said, and I'm paraphrasing, I can't say it exactly. Basically what he was saying is like, you guys aren't ready for this yet. Not till way down the line. I would have to release some of this. It's gonna be, he said, I'll be way past dead when you guys actually are able to really get with this. I believe that, because there's so much stuff now you really digesting. Some lyrics, I'm just understanding what they was like, oh, okay, That's how it happens,
Well, so Prince was actually writing music to be released after he dies.
Probably. Because there's no way you can release this just too much music, in your lifetime. There's no way. Unless he was just going to try to do some mass kind of, thing at one time, where you just release everything. But I doubt that's just way past oversaturation, No one could even compute that, That would be an alien thing to do. I don't know.
So how hard did it hit you when you found out about his death?
Hard. Pretty hard, yeah. We were in, was it Philly? We had a gig that night, matter of fact. And we were trying to figure out by the time we landed, my brother bass player Ricky Kenshin, he was kind of, calling around. It's like, look, I think something happened at Paisley. We're like, there were some trucks in front of Paisley. Like, what does that mean? It's like, oh, okay, it's probably, and not only that, trucks, there were like some news trucks, and there were a lot of them. So we're like, okay, no, that gotta be, maybe it's just somebody, assistant, something happened. I don't know. And the next 30 minutes, we got some confirmation, and that was really, it's still unbelievable. I keep expecting him to pop up, and it's really, but I think he's definitely here. Feel his spirit, and it's definitely, this thing about energy is it just transfers. He's definitely here with us. He's checking it out, but it was a tough time, tough for many people. So it's I did some dates with the Revolution, and I'm sure for them too, pretty much, they're kind of in mourning, it seems, How could they not be, That's, it's a special dude, so he will absolutely be missed. The world is definitely a little darker, a little bit less color. Because of him, he fired on every cylinder, at all times. The dude didn't sleep, literally. People talking about around the clock, he did it. For real. Some people just talk it,
So what do you mean he didn't sleep? Like, give me an example.
He didn't sleep. I heard that he did not sleep. Either he was an insomniac or whatever, and maybe he slept 2 hours, but he could be up. And you can hear engineers in different places, tell you stories about how he'd be up, and he has to get a song out, even if it takes 2 days. He can't go to sleep. The music, I guess, would keep him up. So that's why he could finish like a song a day. I guess some people don't realize how difficult the amount of focus, energy, and concentration that it takes to finish from top to bottom. Music, arrangements, orchestration, the composition, that's just the music side. Then you have the lyrics and the poetry to go with it, the melody and harmony. And then sometimes mix it. That's 10 different jobs in a day.
Prince was absolutely different, which is why we remember him the way we do.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely. So did you come in contact with Michael Jackson at all during?
I met Michael at Flight Time one time, you know, with his mask on. I think they were doing the Scream.
Oh, his mask on?
Yeah, he had a mask, yep, inside and everything. I talked to him for a few minutes. I was like, just like, hey, man.
Wait, he had like, what, like a surgical mask?
Yeah, so, yeah, the surgical, yeah. Not like a Ronald Reagan mask or nothing like that. Yeah. It was like a surgical, yeah. And I just, you know, spoke to him real quick. I was like, I didn't want to bother him too much because, you know, but he was standing there. I was like, yo, man, this is, dude, man, I grew up with you. The things that, this was crazy, the things that people say to me now, it's weird, you know. Since 5th grade, I liked your music. I was like, wow, really? How old am I? That's crazy. And he was like, oh, thanks a lot, man. He was like, what are you guys working on? So we're working on an album, you know. It's like, oh, I can't wait to hear it. So I just wanted to say, hey, man, love what you do. Continued success, that kind of thing. Real cool, real sweet, you know.
So, I mean, you went on to become a session musician for a lot of different people, like Janet Jackson, Johnny Gill, Luther Vandross, Elton John,
Yeah.
Usher, Tony Braxton,
Yeah.
well, Prince, of course, like you mentioned, Jill Scott.
Yeah.
So you played with a lot of different people.
Yeah, and I had the honor and privilege, and you know, just through the Flight Time thing, because a lot of times I didn't know who the record was going to be for, you know, and I was kind of like the residential drummer there, you know, and yeah, through them I was able to get on all these different sessions, you know, and yeah, it was a great thing to be able to use my voice in that way, whether it be, you know, drums or percussion that might need some more background vocals even, you know, because I love different textures and that kind of thing like that. So, you know, it was a cool time, man. I mean, there was a lot going on. I felt like it was, you know, again, like at the whole Motown thing, there was always something going on, always. They had 4 or 5 different studios, you know. One was another room they made into a kind of a makeshift studio because there was just so much going on at the time. They had different producers coming through there who were on staff, that kind of thing. So they had really had a great machine running at that time, yeah.
Right. Now, you end up working with Wale a lot. Are you guys still working together?
Yeah, we just, he's on my CD, Introducing Stokley as well. He's on that. He's talking about doing a go-go CD. He wanted me to be on that, be a part of that, which I would love, you know, of course, being the drummer that I am, you know, I think it'd be crazy, like amazing to do that. So, but yeah, he's still, you know, doing his thing. He's got something out now I heard I really like, really cool. And yeah, I met him, and it was a few years back, but he was, you know, in DC. Mint Condition has the whole DMV, you know, DC, Maryland, Virginia area. Big following there. It's a music city, music town, the go-go, just live music, you know, just raw energy. So we've always had a big following, and it's very special to us, that place, because they helped break us. You know, we first came out, the radio station, the HUI there and all that kind of thing. And so he was looking for a different type of sound. I heard through the management, you know, we got together and had a meeting. And there was a few other producers there and writers. Got us together, and he was explaining his vision, what he wanted, kind of thing. So after that, we just went in and we just continued to work together, you know. He appreciates music, you know, like classical instruments, like drums, you know, acoustic instruments, you know, piano, horns, whatever, you know, growing up rapping over go-go music. So he's not afraid to rap over real instrumentation, you know, not just electric stuff, you know.
Yeah, I mean, a Wale go-go album, I think would be dope.
Would be
He's really in a
crazy.
position now where he could do that creatively.
Yeah, and go-go could finally be looked at as, you know, nationally, put on the international stage, really, because it's really been like a regional art form. You know, people in DC know, but like, what's go-go? When you get outside, it's like, what the hell is go-go? You know, it's been around since the 70s, maybe even before, but yeah, you know, R.I.P. to the Godfather up there, Chuck Brown, yeah.
Right. So what's the current status of Mint Condition right now?
We're all doing different things. I'm just the first one that popped out doing something. You know, we all kind of doing, you got to remember, we've been doing this thing for just a long time, over 25, almost close to 30. Probably 30, over 30. So, you know, time for a change, man. Do something different, enrich your life a little bit. And for me, just spread my wings in the way that I've wanted to, work in a different way, diversify, rebrand yourself, you know. I think we got many facets, you know, people, and you should use it. Do what God gave you, you know. Do everything that you can do. Like I said, life is short, man, so you don't want to have any regrets about it, you know. Just a different way of working, you know.
Right, and you've already released a song from your solo album.
Yeah, it's called Level. Yep. So right now you can go grab that anywhere, iTunes, Amazon, et cetera, et cetera. All of the usual suspects of social media. And the album Introducing Stokley.
Okay, so the solo album is called
Introducing Stokley. Yep. And I called it that because, and everybody's like, well, we feel like we already know you. Well, what I've been telling people is like, yeah, I get that, but you know, when you're in a group, you leave room for democracy, of course. So, and each individual comes together to make one entity, kind of thing. But this, of course, with the solo thing, it's all you. You're getting 100% of, you know, the ideas, and the concepts, the music, how you want everything to go. You know, again, with the group, it's a collaboration of sorts. It's more democratic. Here, I'm just the solo guy, and here's where I want things to go. Here's when I want it to happen, you know, and I want to present it to you like this, you know.
right now. Wale's on it. Anyone else?
Yeah, so we got
that's on it?
Yeah, Wale's on it. This guy named Omi. He had this cheerleader song a few years back, so it's on this kind of
Oh, right, yeah, the
dance
Choose
hall
by
thing that I
Cheerleader,
got.
yeah.
You know, got my steel pan on there and all that good stuff. And so I've got him. Robert Glasper's on here. Estelle is on here. Got a song on it together. So yeah, and then that's it. The rest of it is just, you know, the production is done by myself and also Carvin Haggins and Ivan Barrios. They do a lot of stuff. They're out of Philly, and they've done a lot of stuff for, like, you know, Music Soul Child and Joe Scott, and Nick said their discography is crazy. So work with a couple of songwriters as well, because I know what I can do. And I've got a lot of stuff that's in the can, but I just wanted to mix it up and get some different energy in there. Sam Dew's another writer. The A-Team out of LA, these young writers, wrote with them as well. And yeah, and had some great musicians on here.
Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, it's something special. It's definitely, I look at this thing as kind of like, you know, because I'm from the analog age and I love digital. So it's to, you know, bringing those two worlds together, analog and digital. And I feel like I'm a bridge between old and new. You know, I feel like I'm truly in between both things, you know, the musicians of the past and then, you know, halfway in what the new school is doing a little bit, because I love, like I said, the digital world and, you know, some of the things that are going on in hip-hop music. You know, I'm an old hip-hop head. Used to be a b-boy back in the day with some of my cats. So I still love that energy and that vibe. You know, and that's kind of what I'm putting forth on this thing. This is just my first effort. There's a lot of stuff that I'd like to say and do. You know, so this is just the first of many.